Have you ever walked into a room so dark that just a single candle changed everything? It's amazing how even the smallest light can chase away shadows. How one spark can spread and set a whole place ablaze with hope. Now imagine this: a whole nation lost in darkness. People forgetting what was right, forgetting who they were, forgetting God. And then, out of nowhere, a spark. A young boy, just one boy, who became a king. And that one candle lit an entire city. This is the story of Josiah, a child who grew up to lead a nation back to God. A story that reminds us of something powerful. One faithful person can lead many to righteousness. Today, we'll uncover the story of Josiah from 2 Kings chapters 22 and 23. And we'll explore 5 powerful lessons we can learn from his life. Let's begin. Our story begins in the kingdom of Judah. The people of God were in trouble, not because of enemies, but because they had forgotten their God. They still had the temple in Jerusalem, but they no longer honored the God who dwelled there. For generations, kings had come and gone, leading the people deeper into idol worship and disobedience. Yes, 8. Can you imagine? While most kids are learning to read or climb trees, Josiah was handed a crown and a throne. And yet, even as a child, Josiah had a heart that longed for God. The Bible tells us he did what was right in the eyes of the Lord, and walked in all the ways of his father David, not turning aside to the right or to the left. 2 Kings chapter 22, verse 2. That's an incredible statement, especially considering that his own father and grandfather had led the people far from God. But Josiah was different. He was a candle in a dark room, small at first, but burning bright. Lesson 1. You're never too young to make a difference. Age doesn't limit what God can do through you. Josiah is proof of that. 18 years into Josiah's reign, by now he's about 26 years old, something incredible happened. Josiah had ordered that the temple of the Lord be repaired. It had been neglected for years, and he wanted to restore it. While cleaning and fixing the temple, the high priest Hilkiah made a discovery, an old scroll buried somewhere in the dust and ruins. It wasn't just any scroll. It was the book of the law, the sacred words of God, the scriptures that had been forgotten. Hilkiah gave it to Shaphan the secretary, who then brought it to King Josiah. And when Josiah heard the words read aloud, words that reminded the people who they were and what God had commanded, his heart broke. When the king heard the words of the book of the law, he tore his robes. 2 Kings chapter 22, verse 11. Tearing his robes was a sign of deep grief. He realized just how far the people had drifted from God. Generations of disobedience, generations of idolatry. But Josiah didn't just feel sorry. He wanted to know what to do. So he sent messengers to a prophetess named Huldah to inquire of the Lord. Because your heart was responsive, and you humbled yourself before the Lord, your eyes will not see all the disaster I am going to bring. 2 Kings chapter 22, verse 19 to 20. Lesson 2. God's word can change everything. When Josiah heard the truth, it didn't just inform him, it transformed him. Lesson 3. True leadership starts with humility. Josiah didn't ignore the truth. He didn't blame others. He bowed his heart before God and asked, "What now?" And what Josiah did next was nothing short of revival. He gathered all the people of Judah, young and old, rich and poor, and he read the entire book of the law out loud to them, the king himself standing with the people, reading the words of God. Then the king stood by the pillar and renewed the covenant in the presence of the Lord. 2 Kings chapter 23, verse 3. Josiah led the people to recommit their hearts to God. But it didn't stop there. He went on a mission to rid the land of everything that was unholy. He destroyed idols, tore down altars built to false gods, and even removed pagan priests who had led the people astray. He brought back the Passover celebration, something that hadn't been truly observed since the days of the judges. 2 Kings chapter 23, verse 21 to 23. Josiah turned words into action. He didn't just feel sorry, he led with courage and conviction. Neither before nor after Josiah was there a king like him who turned to the Lord as he did, with all his heart and with all his soul and with all his strength. 2 Kings chapter 23, verse 25. Lesson 4. Real change means real action. When we truly love God, we don't just say it, we live it. Josiah's reign was a time of light in a dark world. He didn't have all the answers. He wasn't perfect, but he had a heart fully devoted to God. And because of that, he became a spark that lit the hearts of a nation. He was just one person, one candle, but he shined so brightly, others couldn't help but see. Lesson 5. One faithful heart can ignite revival. You may feel small, insignificant, like the problems in the world are too big. But remember Josiah. Remember the young king who read God's word, humbled himself, and led a nation back to truth. So let me ask you, what light has God put in you? Is there something He's placed on your heart? A call to stand for what's right, to lead with kindness, to bring truth to those who have forgotten it. You don't have to be a king, you just have to be faithful, because one candle can light a city. Thank you for joining us for the story of Josiah. If this story inspired you, remember to share it, because the light that reaches you might just be the light someone else needs. Until next time, keep shining.